The scene begins with Dr. Louise Banks speaking to someone. We witness moments of Louise with her daughter Hannah, from her birth through her childhood years, up until her death at a young age from a fatal disease, presumably cancer. Louise, a linguist and language professor, starts her lecture to a small class when the students' phones ring. One student asks Louise to turn on the news. The report reveals that enormous extraterrestrial vessels have landed in at least 12 sites around the world. The following day, Colonel Weber visits Louise in her office to enlist her linguistic skills in an attempt to communicate with the aliens. That night, Weber arrives in a helicopter to escort Louise to the base. There, she meets a theoretical physicist named Ian Donnelly. The team reaches the Montana landing site, while the other 11 sites around the world also have established bases and are continuously updating each other on any progress. Louise, Ian, and several others are taken to the top of the pod, where the lack of gravity allows them to stand before the glass-like barrier that separates them from the aliens. 2 aliens, later called heptapods, appear. They are surrounded by a mist and appear as large, tentacled creatures. Louise tries to communicate with them by writing "human" on a board. One of the creatures emits a black cloud that forms a circular symbol. In a bold move, Louise removes her hazmat suit in an attempt to gain their trust and presses her palm to the barrier. One of the creatures extends a limb and presses it against the barrier in an imitation of Louise's gesture. After Ian also removes his hazmat suit, he decides to nickname the 2 aliens Abbott and Costello. Tensions are escalating nationwide due to uncertainty about the heptapods' intentions, leading to widespread panic, looting, and riots. As the sessions progress, the team documents the symbols created by the heptapods to identify which symbols correspond to the words Louise has been teaching them: love, time, etc. Later, when Louise interacts with them again, she begins to have visions of Hannah. China's General Shang, Zima, distrusts the aliens and directs his team to deviate from the established plan by halting the sharing of intelligence with other global sites. The Chinese site attempts to communicate with the heptapods through a game of mahjong. Louise starts having dreams in the alien language while also recalling memories of Hannah as a child, when she showed Louise a drawing of her parents from a TV show she had invented. Hannah asks Louise if it's her fault that her father left, but Louise reassures her that it's not the case. In the present, Louise inquires with the aliens about the identity of this girl. The aliens convey a message translated as "use weapon," intensifying the tension among the other sites. The Chinese issue an ultimatum to the aliens, giving them 24 hours to depart, or else the military will launch a strike. Several other sites prepare to take similar actions, and all sites disconnect from each other. Louise informs Weber that they must ensure the aliens understand the distinction between a weapon and a tool. Louise and Ian board the vessel, unaware that some soldiers have planted a C4 bomb inside. As they attempt to communicate with the heptapods, Abbott begins crafting a message with numerous tiny scattered symbols. Just as the bomb is about to detonate, Abbott ejects Louise and Ian from the vessel before it explodes, leaving them both unconscious but without serious injuries. Louise regains consciousness at the base camp, having sustained a mild concussion. With a looming crisis, she and Ian race to decipher Abbott's message. Ian notices that many of the symbols for time are spread out, but struggles to fully comprehend their significance. Agent Halpern, Michael Stuhlbarg, then informs the group of the severity of the situation, revealing that Russia has reportedly killed one of their own to protect their intelligence. Louise hurries back to the vessel, and a small pod descends to transport her back up to the ship. Confronted by Costello, she learns that Abbott is dying from the explosion. Costello releases more black symbol smoke, triggering Louise's recollection of Hannah. Costello then helps Louise understand that the heptapod's language is intended as a tool or a gift to humanity. By grasping their language, humans can perceive the future. It is then revealed that Louise's memories of her daughter Hannah were not flashbacks, but rather glimpses of the future. Costello explains that they have come to bestow their language upon humans so that they can aid the aliens 3,000 years from now. In 18 months, Louise and Shang will have a face-to-face meeting, during which he will express gratitude for her work and efforts. This ultimately convinced him of the aliens' true intentions. Louise takes Halpern's satellite phone and contacts Shang on his personal number. She and Ian lock themselves away as she attempts to send a message conveying Shang's wife's dying words. The Chinese military decides to stand down as reports flood in from all over the world. The vessels rise from the ground and depart Earth in a cloudy mist. Louise and Ian observe their departure. Ian remarks that the greatest thing about the entire incident wasn't meeting the aliens, but rather meeting Louise. Louise then sees more visions of herself with Hannah, this time with Ian in the picture. They are depicted as a couple who will eventually become parents to Hannah. In the present, Louise and Ian embrace, and she tells him she forgot what it was like to be held by him.